Pause for a second. Columns, white cubes, blue domes, and golden mosaic light. Greece, instantly.
Even as a shadow, the Parthenon tells you where you are. Athens, stone, sunlight, and a building designed to be read from outside. Then the islands, whitewashed homes stacked on cliffs, blue accents against the Aegean. Beauty.
And inside a domed church, geometry turns into theology. Light, stone, and iconography shaping
Today, why Greece looks so Greek, how it is built, where the money goes, and which small details are the true signatures.
Greek architecture has three faces: the classical temple, the island house, and the Byzantine dome. Face 1 is classical Greece, the temple, columns, a platform, and a pediment, engineered to look calm, powerful, and permanent in harsh light. These temples were public statements, architecture as civic identity, meant to be seen, judged, and remembered from the outside.
Phase 2 is the islands. Cycladic building, simple cubes, thick walls, and small openings.
What looks like minimal design is often pure survival. White surfaces to reflect glare, tight streets to... Phase 3 is Byzantine and Orthodox Greece, a square that holds a cross, crowned by a dome, built to guide your eyes upward.
The temple is geometry and sunlight. The church is geometry and glow. Together, they form
Reflections. Behind all three faces are the same Greek forces: intense light, rocky terrain, scarce resources. Even modern Greece echoes the past. Neoclassical lines in Athens, classical proportions reused as a visual shorthand for heritage.
Start with the simplest fact. Greece is light, sharp, reflective, unforgiving at midday.
Those deep shadows are not accidental. Columns and flutes turn sunlight into rhythm, light and dark alternating like a visual beat.
Greece is also rock. Stone is everywhere, so masonry becomes the default language.
On the islands, wind shapes the plan. Settlements tighten into shaded alleys, corners.
Whitewashing is practical. It reflects sun, and lime-based coatings were historically valued for cleanliness and hygiene, especially in crowded towns.
Small openings are a thermal strategy. Less heat enters, deep walls create shade, and interiors stay cooler without machines.
Culturally, Greek building often assumes an audience. The facade is a statement, and proportion becomes a kind of public language. A temple is staged like a reveal. You approach, you rise, and the building answers with symmetry.
Greek architecture often feels timeless because it is tuned to nature. Stone, sun, and
To build a temple, you begin with material. In Athens, that often meant Pentelic marble, beautiful, bright, and brutally heavy. The first cost is movement. Quarrying is hard, but transport is the true struggle. Every kilometer turns stone into labor and logistics.
before a single column stands, the project is already expensive in time. Roads, ramps, teams, and constant risk of damage. Construction starts with a platform, layers of stone aligned with care, because any error multiplies as the building rises.
Greek columns were not single pieces. They were stacked drums, fitted and aligned so tightly that the joints nearly disappear.
Each drum demands precision, contact surfaces flattened, alignment controlled, and connections designed to survive time and earthquakes.
Then comes the surface work. Fluting is not decoration alone, it sculpts light, making a static column feel alive as the sun moves.
Above the columns, horizontal lintels carry the load. Simple in principle, difficult in execution when every block is unforgiving.
The temple's triangle pediment becomes a billboard for myth, sculpture integrated into architecture, telling stories in stone. From far away, it is a clean silhouette. Up close, it is dense craft, edges refined, joints controlled, and surfaces tuned for light. Here is the secret. The Parthenon is not perfectly straight. Subtle curvature and slight tilts make it look straighter to the human eye.
Columns swell gently in the middle, entasis, so they do not feel thin or weak. It is engineering for perception.
At the corners, spacing changes. The building compensates for visual tricks that would otherwise make the edges look wrong.
These refinements create a strange effect. The temple feels stable, almost elastic, as if it is resisting gravity with grace.
Precision is not free. Every refinement is human time.
Measurement, carving, fitting, and time is the most expensive material.
Even today, restoration demands matching stone and careful connectors, because the structure's strength depends on invisible decisions.
When you preserve a monument, you pay twice, once to build it, and again to keep its precision alive for the next century.
Sculpture carries additional cost, skilled artists, years of work, and fragile details that survive only if the stone and shelter cooperate.
Yet the result is unforgettable. A form so clear that even time, damage, and distance cannot erase its identity.
This is why classical Greece became a global reference, a public language of proportion, repeated in cities far beyond the Aegean.
Even in later centuries, Greece's columns remained a shortcut for authority, stone grammar that many nations borrowed.
Now the islands. Cycladic homes look simple, but every choice is climate logic. White surfaces, thick walls, and tight streets.
Whitewash reflects glare, while deep window reveals create shade. The building is a tool that edits sunlight.
Flat roofs and simple volumes make construction repeatable. In many places, every kilogram of imported material would raise the cost.
Inside, the reward is cool shade. Thick masonry slows heat transfer, keeping rooms livable with nothing but airflow.
Settlement patterns matter. Tight clusters block wind, create shade, and turn whole villages into a single thermal system.
The craft is humble but constant. Plaster, lime, repainting. Maintenance is part of the architecture's life cycle.
Blue accents became iconic, but the deeper story is durability and identity, color marking place, tradition, and continuity.
The Aegean wind is a designer you cannot ignore. Corners, alleys, and walls are shaped to survive gusts and salt air.
Even circulation is engineered. Stairs and zigzags manage steep terrain, reducing erosion and making daily movement safer. At golden hour, the same minimal forms become luminous. The architecture turns the sun into a material you can feel.
From islands to temples, Greece repeats one theme: stone and sunlight, shaped into forms that remain readable at a glance.
Now step into Byzantine Greece, where the goal changes. Architecture becomes theology, and the dome becomes the organizing symbol. Many churches use a cross in square logic, a square base, a cross of space, and a dome that crowns the center.
Structurally, arches and supports carry the dome. Visually, painted surfaces turn structure into narrative and ritual.
Mosaics are an expensive finish, countless tiny pieces placed by hand, designed to sparkle under low, moving light. The interior is built for movement and sound. Light flickers, incense drifts.
Outside, the church often looks compact and restrained. The investment concentrates where meaning lives, inside, under the dome.
Curved geometry changes acoustics. The dome supports chanting and reverberation, turning architecture into an instrument.
So Greece gives you three recognizable silhouettes: columns in sun, cubes in...
Across the mainland and cities, domes mark community and faith, visual anchors that survive political change and time. Wear patterns become evidence. Stone steps record centuries of movement, reminding you that architecture is also a social history. Symbolically, the dome reads as heaven above and earth below. The building is a diagram you inhabit, not just a shelter.
If you budget Greek architecture, stone is only the start. The real costs are transport, skilled labor, and precision. Precision consumes time. Tight joints, refined edges, and subtle curves demand specialists, and specialists are always expensive.
Add sculpture, and cost rises again. Narrative surfaces require artists, planning, and protection from weather.
Maintenance is another budget line. Preserving monuments means correcting old repairs and choosing durable connectors that will not fail.
On the islands, money goes into constant upkeep. Plaster, lime wash, and materials that often arrive by sea.
In churches, mosaics and icon surfaces are the luxury layer, labor-intensive craft that turns a room into a luminous icon.
To read Greece, watch for signatures: Doric rhythm, subtle curvature, deep shadows, whitewash massing.
For instant recognition, learn the orders. Doric is restrained, Ionic adds scroll-like volutes, Corinthian...
Doric reads as strength. Its simple capital and heavy proportions turn sunlight into bold shadow, perfect for a temple seen from distance.
Ionic feels lighter. The volutes and slimmer profile add refinement, as if the building is speaking in a more delicate register. Corinthian becomes ornate. The leaf carving is costly craft, time, skill, and fragile detail that survives only through careful protection.
Look for the meander, the Greek key pattern, repeating geometry that signals continuity, order, and the idea of an endless line.
Temples also carried stories in their skins, pediments and friezes designed as public narrative, where myth and identity became architecture.
And the White Temple is partly a modern memory. Weathering stripped surfaces, evidence suggests some
Part 1. On the islands, notice the microclimates, shaded corners, built-in benches and small courtyards.
Cost hides in supply. When materials arrive by sea, every delivery matters, so builders
A dome does not sit on a square by magic. Curved transitions and hidden supports shift the load.
Symbolically, the vertical journey matters. Heaven above, community around, earth below. The building teaches meaning through elevation.
Even sound is designed. Curved interiors support resonance, making speech and chant.
The expensive parts are often invisible. Scaffolding, surveying, precision tooling, waste stone, and...
If you remember one line, columns in sun, cubes in glare, domes in glow. That trio is Greece.
Greece stays in memory because it is clear. Simple silhouettes carry deep ideas, public proportion, climate survival, and sacred geometry.
Columns, cubes, domes, 3 faces, 1 language. Once you know them, you can recognize Greece anywhere in a single second.
Next episode, we test a new country. 1 silhouette, 1 reason, 1 method, 1 hidden cost, and 1 unforgettable detail.